Hello and welcome to the Sports Centre YouTube channel. Now before we get into the video, two things. I hope everyone's enjoying this beautiful weather we're having at the moment. And the second thing is, if you've not subscribed to the channel already, why not get over and do that right now? What are you waiting for? Right, let's get into it. So today we're talking about Tottenham Hotspur, the Europa League champions, and we're talking about the main man, Daniel Levy, in particular. Now, Daniel Levy has spoken out for the first time since the sacking of Ange Postecoglou to the club's official TV channel, basically about why he did it, what his reasons were for it, and the vision for the future. Now, whether you agree with it or not, or whether you agree with me or not, should I say, I think it was the right decision from Levy to get rid of Ange. I think if Spurs hadn't won the Europa League, let's have it right, this would have been probably the worst season they've ever had in the Premier League. I don't recall them having a worse season, to be honest. They finished 17th and they've never been relegated from the Premier League. So this would have been the worst season they've ever had as a league campaign. You can't continue on that front. You simply can't. Tottenham are a much bigger club that should be competing, I dare say, for European places, not necessarily the Champions League, but definitely European places, year in, year out. So for me, Levy made the right decision in getting rid of Ange. But it's interesting to hear his thoughts on Spurs now, and also in where he wants to go with Spurs. And has he given Spurs fans a bit of a stick to beat him with? Now, I'll come to that in a minute. So Levy basically said what I've just echoed what I've just said in terms of why he had to get rid of Ange. You know, it was no hard feelings. He's always welcome back at Spurs. He'll forever be in their history books. Excuse me. But ultimately, they couldn't risk having another league campaign like they did. And also, he didn't allude to this, but Spurs are in the Champions League now. So therefore, you need someone with a bit of experience to potentially, try and go far in that competition, because look, by hook or by crook they got in there, so they obviously want to do the best that they can whilst they're in that competition. But the thing that I was more interested in it was Levy saying that he wants to compete for Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. Really, really interesting. Two reasons really, because one, I'm not a Spurs fan, but if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be saying, okay, I like the sound of what you're saying, Daniel. But with that being said, if you want to compete for Premier Leagues and you want to compete for Champions Leagues, not only have you got to match other teams on the pitch, like your Liverpools, your Man Cities, your Real Madrids in the Champions League, your Bayern Munichs, you've got to match them on the pitch. But to match them on the pitch, you need to put the right players, the quality players on the pitch. So therefore, you've got to match them in the transfer markets too. And I'm led to believe that Tottenham have got a 45% wage to turnover ratio. Now, if that is to be true, you ain't attracting the players that are going to take you to Premier Leagues and that are going to take you to Champions Leagues by continuing that business model. And this is where I think Daniel Levy has fucked up here. He's really fucked up, because let's have it right. From what I heard watching Spurs last season, their fan base was really mixed. Some of them wanted Ange out, but a lot of them wanted Daniel Levy out. They was not happy with Ange. I don't know, say maybe 56%, but I'd say maybe you're looking at 80-85% of them are not happy with Daniel Levy. So for him now to come out and say that he wants to be competing at that level, well, okay, cool, Daniel, but you've now got to put your hand in your pocket and get us those players that are going to do that, and to be able to compete for those, you've got to pay these players. And look, Spurs compete in the transfer market. They spend money. They do. Don't get me wrong. they spend it in the wrong places for me. Like, you paid 65 million, what it was worth, for Dominic Solanke last season. He ain't a striker that's going to get you to the top of the Premier League, far in the Champions League. End of the day, Chelsea let him go. Liverpool picked him up. Liverpool had a bat with him. Didn't fancy him. Liverpool let him go. He ended up at Bournemouth. He had a decent one decent season at Bournemouth. And fucking Tottenham's went, oh, sound, we'll have him. Bournemouth went, yeah, give us 65 million. And Daniel Levy went, yeah, sound, there you go, have it. And it was like, fucking hell, can't believe you paid us 65 million for this guy. Spurs do pay the money for players, but they don't pay the wages. And that's when it comes back to that wage to turnover ratio, which potentially is around that 45% mark. You ain't gonna get the best of the best by not paying. Like, end of the day, look at it now. You think of the top earners. I'm looking at in my own house, so like Liverpool, you've got Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, obviously I think Trent before he left. They're all earning 200 grand and more. Like, your Salahs and Van Dijks, you're in 300 and above. Tottenham are nowhere near that now. I don't know. Tottenham fans, if you've got any Tottenham fans watching, let me know in the comments below, what is Tottenham's highest paid player? Because I bet it's not much over or even at 150 grand a week. Now, to the likes of myself and probably most people watching, 150 grand a week is ridiculous, and we ain't never going to see that money. But these footballers nowadays, these top players, they're top earners as well, and they're wanting 300 grand minimum. I think like David De Gea, before he left Man United, he was on 350. I think Casemiro, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying follow Man United's model at all, but this is what I'm saying. These top players that basically deserve this money, like Casemiro, being a brilliant player, came to Man United and basically said, look, I've won all these Champions Leagues, I've won all these La Ligas, I want 500 bags a week. And Man U went, yeah, sound, have it. This is what I'm saying. These top players, they demand the big bucks, and Tottenham just don't pay that at the moment. Now, it's going to be interesting because I would imagine that Tottenham owe a lot of money in terms of having to pay off their stadium. You think about how Arsenal did it, you know, how important it was that Arsene Wenger year in, year out just kept churning out Champions League qualifications, and he was happy about it because, don't get me wrong, he wasn't winning trophies, but he was making sure the club was financially stable by getting that revenue, that Champions League money every single season, that the stadium gets paid off quicker, so therefore we can put more money onto the pitch, i.e. they're looking at spending like, I don't know, they spent 100 million on Declan Rice. Oh, they spent, who was that winger? God, Nicolas Pepe. Did they spend like 79, 80 million 5-6 years ago on him? So this is what I'm saying. I imagine with Spurs, because they've got this new stadium now, it'll take a fair few years for them to get to a point where they can really compete for the big players. And I dare say the main thing that Spurs need to be able to do that before anything is continuously getting into the Champions League. And as we've seen of Tottenham over God knows how long since I've been born, Tottenham don't always compete at the top of the league. They're a very yo-yo club, and like I say, as much as it's encouraging for Spurs fans to hear that their chairman wants to compete at this level, of course they do, but I think he's fucked up a little bit, and the Spurs fans now will be thinking, well, cool, well, get your hand in your pocket, Daniel, and let's see you throw some money at players to be able to let us perform at that top level. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below, but I think he's fucked up massively, if I'm honest, massively. And if Tottenham don't get off to a good start at the beginning of this season, honestly, they could, well, I say Daniel Levy could be in hot water. Now, I think they've got a good manager in Thomas Frank. I think they've got a very shrewd manager there he's been used to working at an acute kind of level when it comes to, you know, Brentford's business model. There was very data driven, and he did really well in terms of picking up some good buys there. So Thomas Frank, you know, may turn things around, and Tottenham might have a different model But who knows? It'll be an interesting pre-season for him, an interesting transfer window, and if you're like me, I cannot wait for the new season to get started. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel right there, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.